Okay, it's my understanding that most of you know this young man that sits in front of me, and so God moved it in my heart to have this message. Kevin, he is an author of a recent book, Learning to Live with It, and you know Kevin. Most of you know him intimately. So Kevin, as I read through this passage that I've already read to our congregants here, John 9 says, "And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth, and his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither hath this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. That the works of God should be made manifest in him." Kevin, when you hear this passage, you just shared with me some things out of your book that we dealt with. What are your thoughts?
One of my first thoughts is how amazing it is that God can use our unwanted circumstances. You know, when we find ourselves in places in life where we don't want to be, in situations that we want God to change, it's been such a blessing to me to know that Romans 8:28, where it says, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose." Is to know that that is the truth, and that is something that we can build our lives upon. And you know, when it comes to the end of that verse, I like that word purpose, because God has a purpose for everything that he allows into our life. And if you look at that blind man, he spent, we don't really know how many years, but it says from birth, and we know he was an adult when Jesus showed up on the scene one day and just boom, fixed his eyesight. But from the time he was born until the time that miracle happened, he had no idea why he was born blind. His parents didn't have a clue. They thought, and the disciples thought, and many people thought, that it was a result of somebody's sin. They were suffering a consequence. But when you look at the end of that, Jesus said, no. He said, you guys don't even know. You don't have a clue as to why this happened. It happened just so that I could show my power through this man. And as I think about that, I think about, you know, it's a great thing when God does a miracle, but yet, you know, you look at other places in the scripture, like where Paul asked God 3 times to take something out of his life that he didn't want to be there, and we don't really know exactly what that thorn in the flesh was. There are a lot of people smarter than me that say it was this, that, or the other, but the important thing I think that we see from that example there is that even when God doesn't do the miracle that we want him to do, that he can still work. He can still show his power. And it's just so comforting to me to know that no matter what God allows me to go through, and what mistakes I might make, or consequences I may suffer, or just, you know, whatever may happen as a result of the life that we live down here, bad things happen to us and we can't figure out why they happened. It's just so nice to know that God is at work no matter what, and that he wants to show his power through us. And that is an amazing thing. And I believe that's the thing that's given me the peace and the comfort and the sense of purpose and meaning to really be able to learn to live with, you know, my paralysis and the circumstances that I face every day. And I'm just so grateful for the fact that, you know, God can show his power through our weakness. Like he told Paul, he said, my grace is sufficient for you. And, you know, then he said, my power is made perfect in your weakness. So whether it's a situation like that or like the blind man where Jesus shows up on the scene and a miracle happens, rest assured that God can use, and he wants to use, the circumstances in your life to show his power.
Kevin, you are a blessing to myself, my family, our community, our world. God has blessed us tremendously through you. I just wanted to give these folks a taster, and that is a teaser for what's to come later on. Thank you, and the Lord bless you and keep you.
Thank you, Russ.